Welcome back. In this section, we are going to talk about Web 3.0, or it's called Web 3 as well. So we have talked in detail about metaverse, different components of it, DeFi, NFTs, and everything, game fee as well. And what I would say the proposition which a metaverse offers, what is the future of metaverse. So now let us find out Web 3 about 3.0 as well, its evolution, how it works, how it will help in metaverse as well. What is the difference between metaverse and 3.0? That is also a very important point to consider because everyone thinks that metaverse is Web 3.0 and Web 3.0 is metaverse. So if you are going through the course, I would say very prudently and with absolute, I would say, concentration, then you will realize that Web 3.0 is not metaverse. Definitely metaverse can be accessed through Web 3.0 and Web 3.0 will contribute to metaverse, but these are not exactly the same thing. So let us find out what is Web 3.0. So the definitions, as we know, as Web 3.0 is still evolving to some extent, Web 3 is an idea for a new version of the World Wide Web, which is WWW, on the blockchain. It incorporates concepts like decentralization, token-based economics, semantics, and immersive experience. So now with this definition, I am sure that you will be able to identify why people get confused that metaverse is Web 3.0. Look at the definition. It says Web 3.0 is, or Web 3 is an idea of the new version of the World Wide Web. Currently what we are experiencing as we are creating this course is Web 2, which runs web, Facebook, Meta, LinkedIn, Twitter, all those things. And then there's Web 1 as well. We'll talk about what is the difference between these things. But in Web 3, it also says that it works on blockchain. So Metaverse also works on the decentralized ecosystem. It incorporates concepts like decentralization, we talked about in Metaverse as well. Then token-based economics, right? So even Web 3 will use token-based economics, which is again, what does mean by token-based economics? Cryptocurrencies, NFTs. So even Metaverse uses the same. Then semantics. So semantics is something which is like a theme-based kind of certain things. So we'll talk about that. What is a semantic SEO versus a search engine optimization versus normal search engine optimization. So how it will change. So again, it is also being said that Web3 will not work on keywords, but it will work on key themes. It will be more intelligent. For example, if I say hungry, it will automatically realize from different contexts that I am feeling hungry or someone else is feeling hungry, right? So even the word will be created into a theme through different, I would say, intelligent data interpretation, through the time, through the artificial intelligence, through machine learning, by understanding the behavior. So each and every word will also be clubbed together as a semantics, as a theme, to arrive at a conclusion. Currently what happens, if you type in hungry, there will be a lot of random things that will come. A lion is hungry, the trainer is hungry, I am hungry, she is hungry, he is hungry, laptop is hungry. I'm just talking about, I would say, a lot of random things, but yeah, these are certain things which will come onto the keyword. Currently Web 2 is I would say based on the keyword search, and hence you talk about search engine optimization and keyword, but gradually it will work on semantics. Google already works on that. It will be the first mover advantage, but gradually the entire I would say internet will move towards semantics. So that was about semantics. Immersive experience. So again, in metaverse also we talked about immersive experience like virtual reality, mixed reality, augmented reality, and overall extended reality. The term Web 3.0 was created in 2014 by Gavin Wood. So it is Ethereum's co-founder. John Markoff of the New York Times is also credited for coining the term in 2006 by a few sources. So many say that the term was coined by Gavin Wood. A few also say that it was done by John Markoff as well. So again, these are two people who are involved, or I would say credited to kind of use this term Web 3.0. A few features of Web 3.0 include decentralization, edge computing, which we have already explained or given you an overview of, then trustless and permissionless, which means that if you are aware about the blockchain system, there is something called, it is a trustless. Why do we call it trustless? Because we do not trust a centralized ecosystem. I'm sure that you remember when we compared the DeFi with the centralized finance. In DeFi, we trust the network, not a single institution or like a bank or something else. Here also it is called trustless because we do not have to trust an institution. It is decentralized. It is working on blockchain and hence it is called trustless. And when it is called permissionless, which means that anybody can enter into this network. So in a blockchain network, something called permission and there is something called non-permission. So non-permission is also called permissionless. So permission means that in order to participate in that blockchain network, you need the permission, and permission can be granted by stake, can be done by anything else as well, by some order as well. For example, if we are creating a say a blockchain network in this course, so what I can do is that you all apply that I also want to be part of this fintech course community, and we all allow that okay, let these people are say our students, so they will be part of this. So that becomes permission. But if I create a network where anybody can join, that is called permissionless. So that is a difference between permission and permissionless. So in Web 3.0, anybody will be able to join Web as currently in Web 2.0 as well. Anybody can type in anything and get into this. It's not like that you have to log into search anything on Google, right? So it's an open system. Similarly, Web 3.0 will also be open, and artificial intelligence and machine learning and connectivity will be used. Connectivity is important, right? Because without connectivity, you cannot fetch any information. Then machine learning and artificial intelligence helps you to create, I would say, semantics, also to understand your behavior, and hence it will become more intelligent. So for example, if you have browsed certain things and if you allowed the system to learn about you, then it can start giving you intelligent and very relevant experience from the next time onwards. So hence that will also be used in Web 3.0. Instead of a company owning the identity and granting access to applications and spaces, the user owns its identity and choose which application to interact with and where to go. Hence, interoperability and transferability is the key. What does this mean? This means that currently if you go to Facebook, they have an ID. You have to log in and they will give an ID. You go on Twitter, they will give an ID. If you go on Instagram, you have to create an ID or they will give you an ID. So those kind of things are happening on different social. You go on Instagram, that's a separate identity that gets clubbed to Facebook and all. But then each and every institution or each and every platform has its own identity, which is dependent on how they give you application. They can also block your application and say, okay, now you have lost your identity on Facebook because we have blocked you. Now here in Web 3.0, what is happening? I will have a single unique identity that I can use in Facebook, Twitter, everywhere else, right? But then that requires interoperability. There has to be standardization. There has to be a unique institution which will actually issue an identity. It's just like I would say the national identities we have got, right? Even though each and every I would say country is issuing different identity, for example, let's say, but still that cannot be unique. If one country say identity number for one individual is 1234, some other country will also issue 1234, right, as an identity into their own ecosystem, into their own formats, right, which will not work in different country, and these institutions will not work in different country. So hence what happens, what we are imagining in this setup is that there will be an ecosystem or there will be a centralized system which will issue an identity which you can carry. Or if not in that case, even if you will have separate identities, there will be an ecosystem which can be certified or can be validated. For example, let's say I create an identity on Facebook. Now I want to use the same identity to Twitter. Now Twitter can't say that, okay, you have to create a separate identity. What they can do is the moment I enter with my Facebook details or my identity there, it validates from Facebook and says, okay, whether it is correct or not. Or even all the institutions can get connected to an interoperable company which will be responsible to validate the user's identity across the platform as well. So for example, Twitter will send the request to that institution. That institution will send the request to Facebook. Facebook validates, and then it comes back. It's a similar way how digital payment works. Whenever you want to make a payment, the payment goes to Visa, then to the institution, then to the switch, and then the payment happens. That's a different, I would say, discussion, but that's how it operates. Has to be a central, I would say, ecosystem or to an institution, which is reliable, which is, I would say, stable, which is secured, which can take an ownership of verifying identity as well. So this will help you to have a single identity which cannot be blocked by anyone else as well. For example, let's say if you have created a ID on Facebook, there could be a chance that if Facebook blocks that ID, you will not be able to say access Twitter or something else. But that's not what we're talking about. What we're talking about is that we can have an identity which I can use anywhere and nobody can block me. They can block my access to their platform, but they cannot block my identity card, right? That's what I'm talking about. That your identity or your entry to a particular platform can be blocked if you have done something wrong, but they cannot snatch your identity. They can't say that you don't exist because you have created some problem into a platform. That's what we're talking about. So these are certain definitions of Web3. Let us go in detail what Web3 promises, as we have done that in Metaverse as well. We have explored everything of Metaverse. Let us find out about Web3 as well. So thank you so much. See you in the next chapter. Welcome back. In this section, we'll talk about the decentralized and immersive journey of Web 1.0, Web 2.0, and Web 3.0. So let us see the timeline and I would say the specific features of these web protocols of Web 1.0, Web 2.0, and Web 3.0. So Web 1.0 was push information, one-way flow, static and non-interactive read-only data, and the timeline that we attribute to Web 1 was 1990s to early 2000s. So in Web 1.0, it was more of a push information, which means that, for example, if I'm a website owner, I can only push information, I can put in anything, and the user cannot do anything else onto it. It can just read, and it was more of information based, right? That I want to inform you, and you just read it. You can't just send a form back, you cannot log into the system, you cannot give me information. The only thing you can do is just like a poster. Compare that with a poster on the wall or onto the display board, right? Whenever you see a billboard, you can't interact with them, right? You can't talk to them, okay, I don't like your advertisement, can you change it? You can't do that. But currently in Web 3.0, you can give feedback. At that point in time, Web 1.0 did not have that opportunity to have an interaction or two-way communication, and hence it was push information, one-way flow, a static and non-interactive read-only website. And then we move to Web 2.0 as we live now. It is a two-way information flow. For example, like blog, you can write something, you can edit something, someone can also give you a response. It's like Facebook, you can log in, you can post, you can like, you can comment. And then Wikipedias, podcast, sharing, social network, user generated content. So on Web 1.0, it was not possible for a user to create a content. It can only be done by an authorized institution which is allowed to say something or to post something. But in Web 3.0, anybody can create anything, or it can be a user generated content. And now it is the ecosystem in which Web 2.0 operates is read and write. So just mark this difference. In Web 1.0, it was read only. In Web 2.0, it is read and write, which means whatever you're reading, you can give your, I would say, experience into it as well, or your input onto that as well. And what we attribute this, I would say, age is from late 2000s to early 2020s. So while we are developing this course, we are still into Web 2.0 and we are talking about Web 3.0. So Web 3.0 will be real time, will be co-creating the content. For example, in the website, let's say on the Facebook is also doing certain things, and a user can also customize the Facebook as per their own wish as well. So that is Web 3.0 we are talking about. In Web 2.0, it is more of a 2D representation where you can see things onto laptop or on your desktop or on your mobile phone. In Web 3.0, it will be 3D representation. It will be immersive using XR like AR, VR, and MR, and it will be living in the moment. It's like being there, experiencing whatever is happening into the metaverse as we do in the real life. And then interoperability will be there. Integrated games that we talked about, that suddenly if you want to buy certain things from Walmart while playing a game, you can do that from the virtual shop of Walmart as well. And then online and offline integration, virtual world, focused on individuals and semantics. So currently, Web 2.0, even though it talks about a lot of artificial intelligence and machine learning to customize and personalize experience, but currently that is not the case. Web 3.0 states that with the amount of data that will get generated, we will be able to create an individual focused internet, which means whatever I like into the internet, I will be able to see that only. And hence we talked about the semantics. I've already explained you about the semantics in the last video, so not talking about that again. Decentralized, which means nobody will actually own the data and the ecosystem and the identity. And Web 3.0 will be about read, write, and interact. So again, Web 1.0 was about read only, Web 2.0 was about read and write, and Web 3.0 will be about read, write, and interact. So these are the differences between Web 1.0, Web 2.0, and Web 3.0 as we are imagining right now. And the transition will be late 2020s, not currently. And then again, I'm sure that gradually after certain years, we'll have Web 4.0, 5.0, 6.0, 7.0. Currently, even if you look at internet, someone is saying this Web 3.0 is actually Web 4.0 or Web 5.0. Again, different definitions. Everybody is just coining their own terms. But if you look at an overview perspective, this is how it has evolved and it will evolve in the future. So I'm sure that with this graph, with this timeline, you would have clear distinction of what Web 1.0 was and its limitation, what Web 2.0 is and its limitation, and what are the promises of Web 3.0. So that's all in this chapter. See you in the next section. Till the time, take care and see you there. Thank you. Welcome back. In this section, we are going to talk more about Web 1.0, Web 2.0, and Web 3.0, a tabular comparison and also tabular features which Web 1.0, Web 2, and Web 3 gives. This is very much important for you to realize why do we need Web 3.0, what are the benefits of it, because Metaverse, Web 3.0 are closely interlinked and related, and Web 3.0 cannot, I would say, go beyond a certain, I would say, phase without Metaverse, and Metaverse will not get fueled without Web 3.0. So hence we have created this course where we have talked about Metaverse, Web 3.0, and also about FinTech, that how finance will become. So DeFi, decentralized finance is a FinTech, right? It's a financial technology, or is a technology which gives financial services in an easy and, I would say, accessible manner. So let us find out what are those features and what are those benefits and what are those, I would say, specific features of Web 1, 2, and 3. So in Web 1, communication was broadcast. In Web 2, it is interactive. And in Web 3, it will be engaged, invested, and immersive. In information, Web 1.0 was static or read-only. In Web 2.0, it was dynamic. And Web 3.0 is portable and personal, which means that whatever information you have onto one website, you can capture, you can port, and you can personalize it as per your need. Web 1.0 was focused on organization. As we talked about, it was push only, whatever organization felt like they can write, and you can interact or you can just give your response on that. Web 2 was community driven, like Facebook and all social media. Web 3.0 will be again about individual, where individual can decide what they want to read, what they want to see, what they want to talk to an interaction, to an individual, to an, I would say, organization about, and whether they want to share their identity and data with that institution or not. Some of the reports also say that it will give the data and the power of their own identity and data back to the individuals. So currently what happens, whatever you want to say, search on Google or on Facebook or any other kind of a social media network, they can actually track a lot of other things which you have not even said or if you have not typed. But in Web 3.0, that will be restricted. And some of the news also says that if any company wants to use your data, they will compensate you. They have to pay you in certain manner, could be a currency, could be in kind or something else, to use your data. And that is also one of the promise which Web 3.0 gives, but we'll talk about that in the chapters to come. Then personal. So Web 3.0 was home pages, Web 2.0 was about blogs and Wikipedias. Web 3.0 will be live streams like virtual reality where you wear headsets. You can do a live streams. Then content, Web 1.0 was ownership driven by organizations. Web 2.0 is about sharing that content, and Web 3.0 will be about curation, will be about changing and designing the content as per the individual. Interaction onto Web 1.0 was in the format of web forms. In, I would say, Web 2.0 will be web applications as we see, and then Web 3 will be smart application which can do a lot of activities or can be more smarter than whatever application that we have on Web 2.0. I would say in search, Web 1 is about directories, Web 2.0 is about keywords or tags, and Web 3 will be about context and relevance. And what we talked about was semantics. Web 1.0 was tracked due to the page views, that how many actually people went onto your website, so how many visited, and on a day, on a month, those kind of matrices were tagged. On Web 2.0, it was cost per click, that how many people actually came to your website. That is not sufficient. How many people actually clicked on certain call to action or took certain action, that is the metrics we are tracking in Web 2.0. In Web 3.0, it will be called user engagement, that how much engaged your user is, how much immersive the user is, or immersed the user is in your content, how much time they have spent. Though even in Web 2.0 we talk about those things, but in Web 3.0 it will become the biggest metrics, because if you are talking about the immersive experience, then you have to judge your website or your interface on the basis of immersive score as well. But then let's call it a score, where that a personal immersion score. I don't know if that's a term or not, but then yeah, to what level that individual is immersed into your ecosystem or to your website. In Web 1.0, advertisement was about banners, the static banners. In Web 2.0, it was interactive, where you can click on the ads, you can go to another website, purchase certain things, affiliate marketing, clicking and going somewhere else. Those are Web 2.0. In Web 3.0, it will be user engagement, that how much user, I would say, is engaged. In Web 3.0, it will be about behavioral, that how a customer or how a user is behaving onto the Web 3.0 network, be it on the browser, onto other devices, that will be tracked. So behavior means that what is your gesture that you're using while accessing that Web 3.0. Remember, metaverse is also powered, if it will be powered by Web 3.0, which means that metaverse is all about experience, immersive, your hand gears, your hand movement, your body movement. You remember we talked about the 6 degrees of freedom as well. So those things will get captured into metaverse and can also be tracked on Web 3.0 based applications or browsers. Research on Web 1.0 was about Britannica Online, where it was again push and static website only. On Web 2.0, it was about Wikipedia, where people can also edit and suggest changes. In Web 3.0, it will be the semantic web, for which means that, for example, let's say I have a name, so which means my name will mean certain things. It could be an institution, it could be an animal, it could be anything as per the current keyword. But in semantics, what happens the moment you search my name, what will happen is that the system will recognize, okay, if the user is talking about this seems like a human being, because this person is also mentioned on, say, LinkedIn or Twitter, on Facebook, and with all those data, it can clearly come to a conclusion that this is the name of an, I would say, an individual or a human being, and is not a place or something else. So those kind of things, or intellectual things or semantic things, is possible in Web 3.0. Technology in Web 1.0 was HTML or FTP, file transfer protocol. In Web 2.0, it is about Flash, Java, XML. In Web 3.0, it will be RDF, RDFS, and OWL language. So that, or the technology that will be used to create systems, ecosystems, network, application on Web 3.0. So I am sure with this tabular comparison, now you can clearly see what were the features of Web 1.0, what are the features of Web 2.0, and what are the features which Web 3.0 is proposing for and is promising for. See you in the next chapter. Till the time, take care and see you there. Thank you. Welcome back. In this section, we are going to talk about what are the benefits of Web 3.0. Though we have seen what are the features available, let us find out what are the benefits that Web 3.0 is going to give us over Web 1.0 and Web 2.0. So there are a few discussed benefits, I would say, yet to be proven, which means Web 3.0 is still evolving. People have different, I would say, understanding. People have different experiences on it. So hence, these are things that we feel will be the benefits, but yet to be proven by time, I would say, not by any theory or I would say any article. Once we see Web 3.0 gets rolled out, and if they are delivering on these benefits, or there could be slightly different benefits as well, or more benefits as well. Number one, it talks about the reliability and transparency. So Web 3 says that Web 3.0 will give more freedom to creators and users through decentralized networks. It will ensure users control their data. Permissioned access. What does it mean? We already spoke about it, right? That Web 3.0 will give more freedom to creators and users. Currently, what happens? Whatever you post on Facebook, you're not getting paid for it, right? For example, someone write poems, someone write a big post, someone write an article on, say, LinkedIn, but you're not getting paid for it. What you are doing is that you're creating a network, you're creating your market value, but you're not getting paid for it. Just imagine LinkedIn starts paying you for certain article online, or whatever you create, maybe even a post or like or comment, anything that you do on internet, you get paid. So that is also one of the benefits, or I would say proposition, which Web 3.0 is promising. It says, and second, it also says that you will have the complete control on your data, which means you will have the permissioned access. So any institution want to use your data to analyze, to sell you products or your services, will need your permission. It could be it could be that you can ask for money, or if you can give for free for any subscription or any service. So those things can happen, but it puts the power to the users or to the creators. Web 3.0 will be for everyone, and there will be very few middlemen. That's what Web 3.0 is also promising. Web 3.0 says it does not require a single entity to control it. Bigger corporations may no longer control any aspect of the internet. Currently, if we have to search anything, the medium is Google or any other, or Mozilla, or you say Internet Explorer, or anything that you have, right? You just type in and you search. But here, whatever you're typing and searching, these institutions are controlling that data, right? That is not given to you. You can definitely download, but that doesn't make sense to you. You're not a data scientist where you'll go and analyze, and it doesn't matter, right? You want to analyze your own data, what you're doing. Definitely you can do if you want to know about who you are and all those things. But there will be fewer middlemen. Web 3.0 will be completely decentralized, where these institutions like Google and I would say Mozilla, or I would say Safari and Internet Explorer, these will become a party to it, but it will be completely decentralized, where nobody will be able to control it, and it will be more open, and the power will be with the individuals. Personalized. Web 3.0 will be able to understand the preferences and semantics. It will help in extensively personalizing the web browsing experience. This means that just browsing on the Google search or any of the internet search doesn't make sense. With this, what happens that whatever you search, due to semantics and due to the understanding of your data and due to understanding of your preferences, it will be able to give you a personalized experience. Right? It will be able to give you an experience which only you can have, what you like, what you have done into past, and whatever data access that you have given. So it will be completely personalized rather than a mass, or I would say more of a one size fit all kind of an approach. It will be more personalized. That is also one of the promise by Web 3.0. Uninterrupted service. So the decentralization means data will be stored on distributed nodes, because that is the base of blockchain. And so users do not need to worry about a block of account network or service disruptions due to any reason, a single profile creation. That's what I was talking about. For example, if you have created an identity, let's say if you have created an account on Facebook and you have done certain things, now Facebook has decided to block you from their platform. Now you have your identity has gone on Facebook, right? And you cannot have that identity transported because, for example, if you have used it for 4 years or 5 years, 6 years, 10 years, or even 2 years or 6 months, Facebook has certain data on you, right? That is your asset, that is your own data, that is your own behavior, that is not owned by Facebook or any media, which means that you should have access to transfer those information in a readable, in a logical manner to other platform. Which means, for example, let's say Facebook says, okay, you can download all data. What does it mean? Like you get an Excel sheet, you get a codes. So what will you do with that? But if Facebook tells you that, okay, this is the, say, a zip file of your behavior that you can download and upload into Twitter or say on LinkedIn or to other social media or to Instagram, which means that the entire behavior will get uploaded and the other institution will be able to identify what kind of person you are. So it is your data, it is your behavior that should get transported, and hence, even if you get blocked out, or say, even we heard that uh, now the social media's server was not working or get hacked. So for 1 or 2 days, you were not able to access your social media because the server of that company was down or there was some bug into it. So hence, with this Web 3.0, since there will be no dependency on a single or a few institution, it will be an uninterrupted service. It will be available every time. You only have to create a single profile which you can use across platforms. So that is also one of the benefits of Web 3.0. Incentivize creators. So creators and owners will be more incentivized for their work and can also retain and claim the ownership of something through NFTs and unique identities. You remember we talked about a painting that I had created on the laptop of $20. So once I sell that or once I buy that, that gets stored as an NFT into my digital wallet. So similarly, whatever I have created online on Web 3.0 or in Metaverse, I will be able to retain the ownership and also to prove that ownership to anyone, any institution, or to any of the participant on Web 3.0 or on the internet that yes, I have created this because I have a proof. Currently, what happens? You create any post, and someone else will just copy paste and will post it, taking without giving you the credit. So those things can happen, but in Web 3.0, those things can be reduced if not completely removed. So that is also one of the benefits. Increase in IoT devices. IoT is Internet of Things. We have talked about and I've explained you briefly about IoT as well in the last few chapters. So increase in the IoT device will give you an immersive experience. Currently, Alexa, Siri, Cortana may become an extension of Web3, right? In currently in Alexa and Siri, what you can do is that you can do a lot of functional things: switch on the light, switch on the AC, play on the music, give me a joke, and all those things you can do. Just imagine you can also use these things as a search network, as a web network, where whatever you ask, it applies a lot of artificial intelligence and also a lot of semantic search and can give you a customized, personalized information, which will be different for you and it will be different for someone else as well. So hence, that is what we're talking about. The Internet of Things devices will increase. There will be a lot of those devices which are capable to produce a lot of data and will be capable to interact with other electronic devices through internet. Immersive and emotional connection with people, places, things, uh, beyond observing, it will be living in the moment, blurred reality. So with Web 3.0, there will be an immersive experience and emotional connection will be with people, place, things, but beyond observing, it will be living in the moment. What do we mean by that? In Web 3.0, you can observe what is happening, who is posted the photograph, who is doing what in life. Here, through Web 3.0, you can actually interact virtually. You can say, okay, that was a great picture. Can we get talking more about it? Let's wear your headset. Wear a headset. Let's meet currently. Because if someone is sitting somewhere else in some other country or in some other place, you can't interact with them. But imagine with Web 3.0, you can do that. That is dangerous as well. Just imagine that you are having a conversation with your old friend, and those conversations are also getting recorded somewhere, right? because obviously whatever data is getting generated, that will be stored somewhere, that will be processed as well. And as we all know, if something is free, then you are the product. If you are not paying for the service, or if you're not paying for the product, then you are the product being sold. It means that if everything is being given free to you, that you can go roam around metaverse and do everything, which means that the institutions which are investing money on the metaverse will be using the data as well. But then Web 3.0 says that we'll be able to protect you. So let's see how that works. So there will be a difference, or there will be a blurred reality. What do we mean by blurred reality? Which means that once, say, there are multiple videos where people have actually spent around 24 hours or 1 day or 2 day or 3 day using the virtual reality headset and spend the entire day, and they have shared their experience as well. So it will give you a blurred reality, which means that whatever you experience or whatever you create in a digital world, you will find that why can't I do that in real life as well? So in real life, your experience will change. You will start demanding something else which you have experienced in digital world, right? There could be multiple experiences. If you're living like a king or a queen or a princess in a digital world, and suddenly you come back into real world and say, oh, where is my throne? Where is my palace? Where are my maid and servants? So those kind of things might also happen. And then you prefer, let me be into the digital world because that's where I feel like a king or a queen or a princess. But in real life, I still have to achieve a lot of things. So again, those are things that can actually blur the reality, and that can also lead to a lot of problems as well, which we'll talk about in the later part of this course. So that's all about Web 3.0 and the promises it has. Let's explore more about Web 3.0 in the next chapters. Thank you so much, and see you in the next chapter. Welcome back. In this section, we are going to talk about Web 3.0 and Metaverse. So we talked about Metaverse, then we talked about 3.0. Let us find, I would say, a similarity or the difference between, or the overall benefit of Web 3.0 and Metaverse. So Web 3.0 and Metaverse are not competing with each other, they are supporting each other, because as we know, Metaverse cannot work if there is no internet. And internet, as we know, will be fueled by Web 3.0. So there are benefits of Web 3.0, which is a complementary to Metaverse. Similarly, Metaverse also has certain features which is complementary to 3.0. And while we were looking at the definition of Web 3.0 in the last chapter, we saw that there is a lot of similarity between these two platforms. So Web3 is a tool to transform how we manage data, governance, and exchange money. So that is about Web3, that how do we manage our own data. We talked about that you have a control. Governance means how that data will be used. And then exchange money means you can transfer money through NFTs, tokens, and all. Web3 is a critical building block for the metaverse, but is only one component. This is very important, that Web3 is a critical building block for the metaverse, but it is only one component. Metaverse has multiple components. Web 3.0 will only support the use of cryptocurrencies, tokens, NFTs, blockchain, and internet. But in metaverse, there are a lot of other things as well, like the property that you buy, like the experiences that you create, the builder, I would say the user content generation aspects. So a lot of things which metaverse can do, Web 3.0 is a smaller part, or is the only component of that. The metaverse is a digital world where we can interact with 3D or three-dimensional objects in virtual reality. We know about it, right? We have experienced, I would say, if you have experienced it, or we have already discussed about it, right? That metaverse is a digital world where it is about 3D objects or an avatar in a virtual reality. Web 3.0 is the evolution of the approaches through which users can control their digital assets and online identities. So what we are saying, that metaverse is the world and Web 3.0 is the engine of that world, which will fuel that economy, which will help, which will connect users for that in that economy. Because unless there's internet, metaverse is of no use, right? It is a very local kind of a gaming then. So in order to be a connected world, we need Web 3.0. So Web 3.0 is the evolution of the approach from Web 2.0. Users can control their digital assets like avatar, bags, and everything that you have purchased, and also the online identities. With Web 3.0, users could create the content of their choice, controlling and monetizing the generated content. It is the same point that we spoke, that on writing a LinkedIn post, you might get paid. On writing a Facebook page, you might get paid. So you might or might not get paid, but that is the promise which Web 3.0 offer, that you will have a control on your data. And for, I would say, these marketing companies, social media data is very much important. So they may be able to compensate you in certain manner. They can say, okay, if we are allowing you to use our platform, then you have to give us data, because there is nothing free. If you don't want to use it, if you are asking for money, then don't use our platform. So depend who is a bigger force, who has a stronger negotiation power. So those things are yet to be seen. So but then Web 3.0 will give you more control on your own information and your own data. Both technologies support each other rather than competing with each other. So if someone is like differentiating between Web 3.0 and Metaverse and saying that Metaverse has nothing to do with Web 3.0 or Web 3.0 is nothing to do with Metaverse, that's where you can say that, okay, I have done this course, I know a lot. Okay, so you can give credit to this course as well if you have learned something or a lot of things about Web 3.0 and Metaverse and its future. So the Metaverse is a digital space, and Web 3.0 is a decentralized web which could serve as a tool for connectivity in the metaverse. Let's consider metaverse, let's say, as a Facebook website or an application as we see. And Web 3.0 is the browser or an internet. So unless you have the internet, the Facebook will not work for you, right? You will not get connected. So imagine in that context, it is the metaverse, it is a space. Web 3.0 helps you to create that ecosystem to have a decentralized web. So if we are saying that my metaverse is decentralized, which means there has to be a browser or internet capacity which can support decentralization. Because unless there is a support of decentralization, anything on top of that will not work, will not be able to support that, right? So unless there is an ecosystem or platform which is on blockchain, anything that you built on top of that will not have a blockchain, right? You can't be sitting on certain things which does not have that feature and create something on top of that. It has to be compatible, it has to be supportive, and hence metaverse will ride on Web 3.0. And in order to ride and get the benefit, even Web 3.0 has to be decentralized and should be using and supporting NFTs and blockchain as well. Both are evolving and need to be defined and governed better and responsibly. So this is about the data privacy issues, about your rights, about your control, about your single identity, about protecting your data. So both are evolving. Metaverse is also evolving, and Web 3.0 is also evolving. So both needs to be governed and better and responsibly. Mark Zuckerberg has said a lot of the metaverse experience is going to be around being able to teleport from one experience to another. So Mark Zuckerberg is saying that teleport means transferring from one reality to another reality, or from one experience to another experience. For example, going from Facebook to, say, Twitter, or Twitter to LinkedIn, or to Instagram. That should be very easy, simple, and interoperable, and users should have a choice. So even Mark Zuckerberg, who is the founder of Meta or Facebook, earlier now Meta, and all the associated companies of Meta. So he also has a vision that it has to be transformed and it has to be interconnected. For example, currently it has Oculus, which has a headset gear, then Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp. There are other companies as well which you will buy and will acquire to create a seamless experience, so that any individual who wants to move around with these I would say ecosystems can do it seamlessly, because all of these institutions are part of one parent company. So that is one of the vision of Mark Zuckerberg as well. So that's all in this chapter, where we have talked about Web 3.0 and Metaverse, and how they're supporting each other and not competing, and how they are different from each other. So see you in the next chapter. Till the time, take care and see you there. Thank you. Welcome back. In this section, let us find out some of the use cases of Web 3.0, or where Web 3.0 can be used and can have better benefits. So we are saying that Web 3.0 will be transformative and will be secure on the basis of what it is promising right now. So it will have immersive social network that we have already talked about, interacting with your connections virtually. It will be decentralized and safe exchange of services. So decentralization comes from blockchain and distributed ledger technologies. So blockchain is just an example of DLTs, as we call it, distributed ledger technologies. There could be multiple use cases as well. But for your information, decentralization, uh, currently for your understanding, let's take this blockchain and safe exchange services, which means that whatever we are exchanging, we will have the ownership and we can prove the ownership through unique identities. Private messaging with privacy, that's what Web 3.0 is talking about, that the data, ownership, privacy, everything will be controlled by the user and it will not be owned by the big corporations as happened or has been accused, or I would say that could be a reality as well, that many of the institutions do actually control our data and then can I would say analyze that for their profits and for their benefits. Decentralized storage, currently in Web 2.0, bigger corporation actually store our data at a centralized place. If it is a bank, they store it as a centralized space or through a cloud as well, but it is not, definitely not owned by us. Similarly, the social media companies actually store in some other manner. In decentralized storage, it may be possible that all the data that you have on your internet you can store locally as well, or in your own system as well, or in a local network that you trust. So that is also a benefit of decentralized storage in Web 3.0. It will be safe and secured insurance and banking, which means that if we trust or if we control all the data, it will be safer for us, it will be secured for us, because unless someone wants to share the data, nobody will be able to have access, which means the number of frauds that we see on online banking, debit card, credit card details happen because financial data is being stored on certain third party ecosystem where if it gets leaked, anybody can misuse it. But in this Web 3.0, it says that it will be on our choice whether we want, where we want to save it, locally or with network or with any institution that we trust. And unless we have that consent given to that institution or whenever we want, then only anybody will be able to use that ecosystem. So hence we are saying it will be safe and secure insurance and banking, creator friendly streaming, video and music, which means that whatever video that you create or whatever you listen will be creator friendly. You can customize it as per your own choice and you can also get paid for your own creation as well. Currently what happens, you play, say you create a music and you put that onto your social media, anybody can just copy paste twist and do everything, right? Hence we know about piracy that happens. That is also another thing which Web 3.0 promises to solve. Then it will be safe and secure web browser, which means that the data, if you have that data, nobody will be able to access that data. The malware attacks, those things that happens onto our website, onto a laptop, onto our devices will be lesser in Web 3.0. So that's what is the promises which are being floated around, which are being discussed, that will be Web 3.0. There are critics of it as well, which says that Web 3.0 is nothing, is just a fad. And there are bigger, I would say, technologists who have said that, but we believe that Web 3.0 exists and is a very, will be a very, I would say, a great thing in the future if it promises, if it delivers whatever it has promised. So now let us find out what will be the kind of applications that we will see in Web 3.0 as we see in Web 2. So the browser, currently, let's say we have taken just one example of Google Chrome, there could be Mozilla, Internet, Safari as well. In Web 3.0, it will be, so why we call dApps? Because it is decentralized application built on blockchain. So these are, I would say, the browser is Google Chrome, then that will be something else. Storage here we do in Google Drive, box file. So these are applications which already exist in Web 3.0. So these things will work on the blockchain and Web 3.0 protocols. Currently, social networks is about Facebook and Twitter. It will go to some other institutions. Then you talk about messaging. Currently, we have WeChat, WhatsApp. It will be something like status, and then cryptocurrency exchange. We don't have in Web 2.0. So if you go to Web 3.0 dApps, yeah, it is there. Then streaming services, Netflix and Spotify, we have taken example. It will be different on Web 3.0 dApps. So and then insurance and banking, we have certain, I would say, institutions, and then on Web 3.0 it will be different. So why we have taken these names is that number one, it has been taken from this website, we have mentioned the source, and second is that these websites or services already exists, and hence we are saying Web 3.0 is not only a discussion, it's already work in progress and people are working on it. And if you look on the, I would say if you Google it, it has become a much hype sensation. Investors are putting money into it. People are learning about Web 3.0. People are investing money. People are creating application ecosystems and everything on Web 3.0. So hence we say that it's not a fad, it's a reality which will come if you believe in the beauty of decentralization, metaverse, Web 3.0, or whatever we have discussed so far. So that was about the use cases of Web 3.0. See you in the next chapter. Till the time, take care and see you there. Thank you.